with multiple rapid changes taking place in the industry since March 2001. Perhaps the most surprising and unwanted one for the history of the company was officially announced earlier in the day, with the iconic WWF initials officially replaced by World Wrestling Entertainment, with the new logo and marketing campaign titled As the Company Getting the F Out debuting for the first time at 8:48 p.m. in the final commercial break on TNN, hyping up Raw 12 minutes before going on the air, coming after already changing its website name to WWE.com over the weekend, with the abrupt change which came out of nowhere for most viewers, starting an awkward transition for longtime fans who only knew and associated the WWF initials with professional wrestling, leading to an ongoing battle for the company to establish the new name for years to come, with decades of history and the biggest stars and greatest eras of the industry all associated and happened under the World Wrestling Federation, as despite the company changing its corporate name to a similar version of it in WWFE as early as August 1999 when the announcement was made of the WWF going public, the strong identity created in the brand name was in some aspects impossible to overcome, also resulting in any reference to the Federation name and logo being deleted and uncomfortably edited or blurred in any new release of archived footage for the next decade, as while the company could still legally use the original initials domestically, Vince McMahon's ultimate vision of a worldwide expansion in addition to entering different genres of entertainment like the upcoming music and movie studios, the decision was made to go all in with a new era under the entertainment name, ending years of lawsuits and legal disputes with the World Wildlife Fund to launch the rebranding campaign with a new era to go along with the brand extension, as the first ever show under the WWE initials opened with JR and King introducing the program with no explanation on the name change, with the NWO coming out in the second quarter for Big Show's follow-up promo after turning heel on Austin, hyping the six-man main event for tonight in a confrontation with Ric Flair, in addition to Scott Hall hyping a major surprise from the NWO for later tonight to pick up over 700,000 viewers. Raw next saw another Booker and Goldust skit, this time on location at a local 7-Eleven, promoting the company's crossover deal, and with Booker being one of the first major WCW names accepting a contract buyout from Time Warner. The final performer under WCW contract has officially settled with the company over the past week, with Bill Goldberg reaching a settlement with Time Warner to reportedly get a majority of his deal up front for the final year of his contract, originally set to expire in mid-2003, making Goldberg a free agent to start the new round of rumors on him starting negotiations with the WWF, and good timing for his leverage coming after the past several weeks of viewership sliding, especially on the SmackDown side, and with the WWF's attempts to create a Goldberg of its own, with Brock Lesnar working next with his match similar to last week, doing a first-hour high with a 4.5 rating. In a coincidence or not, the biggest crowd reaction of the match saw the crowd starting big Goldberg chants throughout, with them either aware of the recent news of Goldberg becoming a free agent or recognizing Lesnar's push similarities to Goldberg's early run, followed by Undertaker finding out that Hogan took his bike to set up the top of the hour segment, with Hogan driving it out to a massive ovation. The now World Wrestling Entertainment Champion Hulk Hogan opened Raw's second hour, with the unique situation of Hogan already being one of the biggest stars in the business in 1979 when the WWF name debuted, to still being on top 23 years later as the top title holder when it was now changed again, calling out Taker to the ring to get his bike back to bring him out, with the idea of Hogan luring Taker out and threatening to run him over before going backstage to what was a pre-taped segment for the second part of the angle, with technical issues with the magic of live television starting moments later, with the motorcycle dying just as Hogan was about to follow Taker. leading to a few tense moments of television as Hogan had to get the bike working for the following backstage segment to make sense, leading to the announcers buying time on commentary before eventually Hogan came back and got it up the ramp as the cameras went backstage, setting up the backstage skit with Hogan driving all over the Civic Center searching for Taker before stopping in front of a truck, ending up with him driving it over to continue the build to their pay-per-view main event in 13 days. With the overall Hogan-Taker segment including the in-ring promo followed by the backstage chase jumping over 800,000 viewers to the peak quarter of the night 5 rating with over 7.2 million viewers. After the Hogan-Taker segment, Raw's second hour continued with Booker and Eddie Guerrero vs Van Dam and Jeff Hardy in a tag match going 6 minutes, with the 10 to 11 p.m. hour on the night perhaps with the curiosity of the name change along with the big star power segments throughout, jumping big to over 6.7 million viewers in the most watched hour of Raw in a month. Hoping to reverse the downward momentum of the past few weeks that the company would hope peaked last Thursday with SmackDown drawing its lowest rated show in its history, resulting in a near panic mode with the show drastically dropping in 3 of the past 4 weeks to near record low territory with hopes of rebounding this Thursday on the back of the big marketing campaign for the first broadcast under the WWE name. After a show-long angle which saw Ric Flair going into the NWO Bradshaw and Austin's locker rooms to set the stage for the turn, the entrances for the main event 6-man tag match took place way earlier than usual at 10:43 p.m. with Flair wrestling his first match on Raw since returning to the company, followed by Nash arriving to the building as a hint at Hall's NWO surprise minutes before the match. And with the Raw crew and all 6 main event participants returning to the US yesterday after a week on a European tour ending on Saturday on one of the most eventful days of the year for the company with 2 major events taking place at the same time in different parts of the world, seeing Rock making his return to the ring in a tag match with Hogan against Angle and Jericho in the US while the Raw brand was ending its European tour with the UK exclusive Insurrection pay-per-view. One of the big talking points coming out of Saturday ended up being the wild 7-hour plane ride of the Raw brand back to the US in what infamously ended up being titled The Plane Ride from Hell, which saw Curt Hennig and Brock Lesnar getting into a shoot wrestling match along with Michael Hayes getting a special haircut from Sean Waltman after getting into a near fight with Bradshaw minutes earlier. Ric Flair going into full Ric Flair mode and pretty much the entire crew getting drunk with an open bar on the plane to lead to one of the most chaotic rides in company history, with the consequences seeing Curt Hennig being released from the company followed by Scott Hall who is still struggling with substance issues throughout the tour, working his final match in the WWF in the Raw main event on the night before being let go after the show, as the Austin Flair and Bradshaw vs NWO 6-man tag match went 16 minutes to peak at a 5 rating into the 7-minute overrun, seeing the first televised clash of Austin and Big Show after the turn while after a month of build-up to the moment as the main angle on Raw since the brand split. Ric Flair turned heel on Austin to lay him out with a chair shot to the head, with the first WWE roar bounding strong from the past 2 weeks to jump almost 1 million viewers from last Monday to one of the most watched Raws of the year with over 6.4 million viewers.